Welcome to our question and answer session for the month of March. You can begin the first question.
Question number 1 from Lisa Wu from Singapore. Can Ajahn explain how to meditate on the 6 elements?
The sixth element. Well, we usually don't meditate on the sixth element. When we meditate, we usually use the breath to calm the mind. So the sixth element is not something we have to worry about. Sixth element is more for vipassana, for the development of wisdom. The six elements are the basic building blocks of all existence of everything in the universe. Everything in the universe made from the six elements. The wind element, the earth element, the wind element, the fire element, the water element, the knowing element, and the space element. These are the building block of the universe, of life, of everything. So this is not something you need to meditate on. When you meditate, the goal is to stop your thought. You want to calm your mind so you can find peace and happiness. That you need to use the watching of the breath, or you can use a mantra. This will stop your thoughts, will make your mind calm, peaceful, and happy.
Question number 2 from Aidan from Spain. When I am standing or sitting down while waiting for the bus to arrive, I maintain my attention to my whole body. Is it the correct way to establish mindfulness throughout the day?
Yes, you have to watch every movement of your body in order to prevent your mind from going somewhere else. If you're not watching your body, you might be walking, but your mind might be thinking of something else. But if you force your mind to watch your body, then your mind cannot go somewhere else. It will have to keep on watching what the body is doing at the moment. So this is what we call mindfulness of body.
Question number 3 from Rick Young. I can only sit half lotus for about 30 minutes before my ankle becomes painful. I cannot sit full lotus yet. If I just cross my legs and sit normally, then I have no pain. Is it critical to sit half or full lotus to achieve the best results in meditation?
If you're on a professional level, then the half lotus or the full lotus will be a more suitable position. But if you're just starting, you don't have to worry too much about this posture. Just worry more about your mindfulness. Your mindfulness is more important than your posture of sitting. So if you could not sit half lotus or full lotus, just sit anywhere you can and try to be mindful of your breath or mindful of your mantra. This can also make your mind become peaceful and calm. But if later on, if you want to sit for a long time, then the position, the half lotus or the full lotus position will be more comfortable. But if you're not used to it, at first you might find very discomfortable to sit because your muscle is not used to be in such a position. But if you keep trying and keep doing it, after a while your muscle will soften, and eventually you won't feel uncomfortable from sitting on a lotus position.
Question number 4 from Johannes Anwar. I understand that 5 khandhas are impermanent. They appear and disappear extremely fast. Therefore, there's nothing is called self and there isn't anything called spirit. So, if there is nothing that is permanent to be claimed as mine, then what is actually being reincarnated?
The mind, see, the mind when it's formed when it's connected to the body, we call this thing the thinking and the knowing as the mind. But when the mind is disconnected, the thinking and knowing is disconnected from the body, then we call it the spirit. See, the mind can exist in spiritual form or in physical form. When it's connected to the body, then it's in a physical form. When it's disconnected from the body, then it will exist in a spiritual form. But the mind is not a self either. The mind is just a thinker, a knower. While the body is the four elements, made from the four elements. So there is no self in anything. But there are things that is not self, but it doesn't mean that there is nothing when there is no self. It doesn't mean that there won't be nothing. The only thing that is nothing is space. In space there is nothing. But the four elements is still in space, also exists in space as the planets. Different have this four elements. And if some planet have living being, then they have the knowing element combined with the earth, water, fire, and air or wind element. And these are all elements. They are not self. They are not self. They're just like trees. They are just like anything. They are things. But the thinker just form a concept of self. That's all. It's just a concept created by the thinker and the knower.
Question number 5 from Lina Hernandez. Is rebirth a choice that one makes, or are they a spontaneous phenomena?
Rebirth is not a choice, but it's a consequence of the craving inside the mind. When there are cravings, the three cravings, then these three cravings will be the one that will push the mind to go take a new form of birth, to connect to a new body, because it needs the body to do what its craving wants to do. The mind craves for sight, sound, smell, taste, and tactile objects. It needs to have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body in order to achieve this purpose. So it's the craving that pushes the mind to go take up a new body, to have a rebirth.
Question number 6 from Popo Kong from Indonesia. Why does Ajahn always tell us to recite a mantra? Isn't reciting a mantra is a Tantrayana teaching? Yet now I am following the Theravada teachings.
Mantra is used in many different religions. So it's just a means of calming the mind. In Christianity, they use singing as a form of calming their mind. Because when you sing gospel, your mind stops thinking about all the things that makes you worry or anxious. It's just a method used to calm the mind, to switch the mind from thinking about things that makes the mind unhappy, to make the mind happy. That's all. In Buddhism, we use mantra to calm the mind, to stop the mind from thinking about all the problems and all the worries that a person might have. When you don't think about them, then the problem seems to disappear temporarily. So mantra or concentration on some particular object will stop the mind from thinking. When that happens, when the mind stops thinking, then the mind becomes peaceful and happy.
Question number 7 from Lance from United States. What is the proper practice for an elder householder who has already attained Sotapanna?
Well, if he has already attained Sotapanna, he doesn't have to ask anybody what to do next. He knows what to do next. Yeah. Really, he sees the path. A Sotapanna sees the path. So you just keep walking on the path toward final enlightenment, full enlightenment. So once you are Sotapanna, you don't have to ask anybody what to do. You know what to do. You know that your duty is to get rid of your suffering, your mental misery, whatever form of mental suffering arises. You know you have to get rid of it, and you know the cause of this mental suffering, and you know the way of getting rid of it. So you just keep getting rid of all this mental suffering as they arises. So there's no need to ask anybody once you are Sotapanna.
Question number 8 from Teo WT, Malaysia. I try to do meditation as much as possible daily, but it has been unsuccessful. Nowadays, my usual meditation of 1 hour becomes shorter. May Ajahn advise on how to be able to sit longer?
The reason why you cannot sit long because you don't have mindfulness. So you need to develop mindfulness before you sit. And you can develop mindfulness all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. So as soon as you get up, recite a mantra or concentrate on your action. Just keep watching what you do. Don't let your mind think about this and that. Only think when you really have to. But if you don't have to think, then you should concentrate your mind on your body action or concentrate on a mantra. Then you will have mindfulness. Then when you sit, you can sit for a long time because your mind can become peaceful and calm very quickly. Once the mind becomes peaceful and calm, then it doesn't feel discomfort. It will feel comfortable. Then it can sit for a long time.
His next question. I keep the precept of not having meal after noontime every day, but can I drink fruit juice with celery at night?
It depends on how how serious you want to keep your precept. This precept, you can be very serious, or you can be not so serious. So it depends on you. For monks, we are not allowed to take anything edible after lunch, after 12 o'clock. And we can take some edible, but they have to be considered to be medicinal herbs, for instance. You can take them. But if anything that is considered to be food, we cannot take them. And fruit juices, we have to strain, we have to filter all the meat from the fruit. We just can only take the juice without the meat of the fruit. So it depends on how austere or how serious you want to keep this precept. If you live at home, the purpose of not eating after midday is to stop you from eating too much. Because when you eat too much, it becomes a hindrance to your meditation practice. Because you become lazy when you feel full. Second, you can become sleepy when you try to sit in meditation. So you have to understand the purpose of this precept. It is to prevent you from eating too much and to support your meditation, to get rid of your hindrance. So you can then know how much you should take after midday, what you should take or what you shouldn't take.
Question number 10 from Jamie Maru from London. Do you have any suggestion about the types of meditation technique to tackle anxiety?
Well, anxiety arises from your thoughts. You think about something and then you can become anxious. So if you stop thinking, then your anxiety will disappear. So the way to get rid of anxiety, we have two ways. The first way is temporarily. That is the use of mindfulness meditation. You try to focus your mind on something so that you don't think about things that makes you anxious. Such as focus, if you sit, focus on your breath. If you're not sitting, focus on your body action. Keep watching what your body is doing. Or you can focus on your mantra in order to stop you from thinking. If you can control your thought, then your mind will not, then you will not be anxious because you won't be thinking about things that will make you anxious. But this will only work as long as you have mindfulness. If you don't have mindfulness and you let the mind think, then it can start think about things that will make you anxious again. So if you want to get rid of anxiety permanently, then you have to use the second way, the second method, which has to come after the first method. First you have to develop the method of mindfulness. Once you can control, stop your thought, the next thing then you should direct your thought to think in the way that will make you not anxious. The reason why you're anxious because you think of things and you think you can manage them, you can control them. And then when you find out that you cannot manage or can control them, then it makes you become anxious. So you need to study the truth. The truth according to the Buddha is that everything is not under your control. So don't try to manage or control them when they cannot be managed or controlled. Just let it be. Then you will not be anxious. Control them, manage them as much as you can. But once you cannot, then you have to let go. You have to accept whatever will be, will be. Then you will not be anxious. This then will get rid of your anxiety permanently. Because then you're ready to face everything. Whatever will be, will be. Whatever you can do, do it. What you cannot do, then let it be.
Question number 11 from Bini Lai, Penang, Malaysia. Is Samadhi the same as Anapanasati or is Samadhi the same as Samatha?
See, Anapanasati is the path to Samadhi. You need to have Anapanasati in order to have Samadhi. Samadhi is peace of mind, stillness of mind. The mind doesn't think, the mind in resting mode. In order to get the mind to get into this resting mode, you need the mindfulness of breath or mindfulness of a mantra in order to stop your mind from thinking. So anapanasati or mindfulness is the forerunner of samadhi or the cause of samadhi. You need to have mindfulness in order to have samadhi. Without mindfulness, you cannot have samadhi.
Question number 12 from Rachel Lim. Some teachers said wisdom will not develop automatically if only practice samatha bhavana. As I have been practicing anapanasati every day for an hour or two, should I continue to sit longer in anapanasati or should I switch to insight meditation?
It depends on how much samadhi you have. If you still have very little samadhi, then you should develop more samadhi first, because you need samadhi as a base for your wisdom development. So try to learn to meditate, to calm your mind for as long as you can and for as many times as you can, until you adapt with your samadhi practice. You can stop your mind anytime you want. You can sit and meditate anytime you want and become calm anytime you want. Once you have developed that, then you can go up to the next level. The next level, then you have to teach your mind the truth of all the things that your mind comes into contact with. That everything that the mind comes into contact with are anicca, dukkha, anatta. They are impermanent, they will hurt the mind if the mind becomes attached to them, and they are not under the mind's control. So this is what you have to teach the mind in order to develop wisdom, to see everything anicca, dukkha, anatta. Once you see them as anicca, dukkha, anatta, then you will let go of them. You will not have anything to do with them. Then they will not hurt you. They only hurt you because you try to manage them or try to control them. So you know that you cannot manage or control them, then you just let them be. Then they will not hurt you. This is wisdom. The next level after you have developed samadhi.
Question number 13. If one has gained insight by contemplating the impermanence of things, will he retain the wisdom when he reincarnates in the future lives?
Yes, once you know this, it will always be part of your mind.
Question number 14. As we lose the memory about our past lives, what do we need to do to ensure that what we have practiced now can be useful in our future rebirth?
See, what you learn through memory is not important because you will lose them, like languages. But what you learn from your action is not lost. It will go with your mind. Things that you do constantly, it will become a habit. Then it will go with the mind. If you like to meditate, next life you will continue to like meditation. If you like to drink, the next life you will like to drink. So whatever you do will form a habit that will go with your mind. But whatever you learn through memory, you can lose them. So don't worry about memory. Try to develop good action so that this good action can become part of your mind. Like doing what the Buddha teaches us to do. Charity, morality, and meditation. If you keep doing these three things will go with you to your next life. You'll find it more easier than people who hasn't done this before. That's why people in this lifetime have different capability to follow the teaching of the Buddha. Because in their previous lifetime, they haven't done as much as another person. So it depends on what you do. What you do will go with you, both good and bad. If you do bad thing, it will also go with you. If you like to drink, if you like to gamble, if you like to cheat, if you like if you like drugs, this thing will go with you into your next life. So try to develop good action, because good action bring benefit to the mind, and bad action bring a harm to the mind.
Question number 15. Nowadays, there are many exhibitions about relics of some practitioners who are not monks or arahants. How do I differentiate them?
You don't need to, because you don't know. You don't need to. Let them exhibit whatever they want. It doesn't make much difference to your life. It doesn't enhance your practice or move you closer to enlightenment. Yeah. So just know that these are relics as per what they say. Whether it's true or not, you never know. So there's no need to pay too much attention to them. You should pay more attention to the teaching of the Buddha, which can be more beneficial to you than paying attention to the relics of different people.
So, is it true that only arahants' remains will become relics after they pass away?
That's according to the common wisdom. Everybody accept this truth, that once you become an arahant, parts of your remains will turn into relics. But it doesn't mean that every arahant will have his remains turned into relics, because it depends on the time that a person, once he became an arahant, how long he will live. Because if he became an arahant and died suddenly, then the pure mind hasn't the time to purify the body. So maybe an arahant, he's an arahant, but if he died right away after he became an arahant, then his remain might not turn into relics. But if he is an arahant and he lives for many years, like the Buddha, for 45 years after he became an arahant, then after he died, some of his remain became relics right away. So it depends on the time, how much time the mind can, a purified mind can purify the body, purify the body, the bones in the body, to make it become element, to become relics. So it is no guarantee that you can say that once a person dies, if his remain doesn't turn into relic, he's not an arahant. You cannot say that, because he could be an arahant, but he didn't have enough time to purify the remain, the body, to make the remains become relics. But if his remain became relics, then you can assume that he must be an arahant.
Question number 17 from Go Kya Kin. When is the novice monk program for foreigner at your temple?
We don't have one for foreigners. We just have one for Thai children, which foreigner can also join if they like. But we already started on the 15th of March, and it's going to end at the end of this month. So this is the program we have yearly, and from the middle of March to the end of March, we will ordain young boys to become novice for about 15 days.
Any age?
Usually old enough to look after himself, because he has to go on alms round and he has to eat once a day. So if he's too young, he may not be able to do it. Normally we take boys from about seventh grade. When they finish 7th grade, Matayam 1, then we ordain them. But sometimes we have younger or older. It's not absolute. So it depends on the monk who take them in, whether he feels that they can do it or not.
Any maximum age?
Well, once you become 20, you cannot become a novice. You have to become a monk. See, novice is for those who are under 20. Once you become over 20, then you can become a monk. You can take the full ordination.
Question number 18 from Yasin W. I am a Goenka Vipassana meditator. I also attend Thai tradition meditation from a few Ajahns. Now I confused about which tradition I have to practice.
Well, just practice mindfulness. Be mindful of your thought. Be mindful in order to stop your mind from thinking. You can use any form of mindfulness. Mindfulness of mantra, mindfulness of breath, mindfulness of body movement. There are 40 different ways of developing mindfulness, called the 40 Kammatthana. You can use any one of them, but you might have to use them accordingly to your situation. Each Kammatthana might be suitable for different situation. So you have to know which one is suitable for different situation. If you use them not properly, then you might not get the proper result. Like if you use mindfulness while you're doing something, then this is difficult to do. Mindfulness of breath or breathing is suitable when you're sitting and not doing anything. But if you're walking, then you should be mindful of your walking. If you're eating, you should be mindful of eating. If you're driving, you should be mindful of driving. See? So it is different under different situation. But the whole purpose is to be mindful in order to prevent your mind from go thinking about something else. That's all. The purpose is to stop your mind from thinking aimlessly.
Question number 19 from Shamil Biradar, India. I have completed 10 days Vipassana retreat in India. In my second retreat, I am thinking of going to Hindu religion tradition. I also watch your YouTube videos. Can you guide me as my guru?
Well, what you want me to do? Yeah. You're just telling me what you're gonna do. If you want me to guide you, you have to ask me what you want me to guide you with. Yeah. If you want to meditate, I always said you have to develop mindfulness. You have to bring your mind back to the present. Don't let your mind go to the past. Don't let your mind go to the future. Be here and now. Be merely observing or knowing. Stop thinking. If you cannot stop thinking by telling it to stop, then you should use a mantra, recite a mantra, or chant something. Keep on chanting, keep on reciting the mantra to counter your thinking. Then eventually you can stop your thinking. Then your mind will become empty and happy and light.
Question number 20 from Caroline, Malaysia. I dreamt about my father who passed away a few years ago. In the first dream, it felt cold and gray. Second dream, it was like in the cafe. Third dream was in the beautiful place. And the fourth dream was when I saw my father's face at another person's body. Are these dreams real?
They are real to you. They are your thoughts. When you sleep, you still think. And this thought create pictures or images in your mind. So it's just dreams. Don't pay too much attention to them. Not unless you can prove it that it's real. What do you mean by real? What is reality, from these dreams, If you can prove something that you dream, when you wake up and then you can prove it by what you call validate your dreams. That, for instance, you dream that you win a lottery and the number is 95. So the next day you go by the lottery number 95, and if you should win, then you say, oh, this must be real. You need something to validate your dream, whether it's real or not real. Or if you dream that someone tell you that I left some money for you under the tree somewhere, then you go and dig up at the tree that you were told, and you find the money living there. Then you say, oh, this dream must be real. Otherwise, then it's not real. Okay, so you need something to confirm, to validate your dream. There is nothing else you can validate except the reality itself.
Can we cross to another realm and communicate with my father in dreams?
If you have the psychic power, you can connect with spiritual beings. So if you want psychic power, you have to meditate. The Buddha had psychic power. He could connect with different spiritual beings, like his mother, who died when he was born 7 days. After his enlightenment, he wants to reach out to his mother to help her. So he searched by using his psychic power. He eventually found her in a spiritual realm, and then he could connect and converse with her and taught her the Dhamma until she became a Sotapanna. So if you have psychic power, you can connect to spiritual beings.
Her next question, what are dreams in Buddhism?
Dreams are your thoughts. When you sleep, you still keep thinking, and your thinking then become images in your mind, so they become dreams.
Question number 21 from Ho Yen, Malaysia. When faced with a lot of restriction from my parents at home, I decided to escape from the situation by going overseas to study. I thought I would be happy and content by being independent and stay alone. However, now I feel guilty to think that how much I have been ungrateful to everything and guilty for spending so much of my parents' money for my overseas education. Now staying alone, I have this sense of emptiness and loneliness which sometimes are too painful to bear. I would like to seek your advice on how to find my purpose in life without being attached to my family.
Well, you have to know that life is like this. You first, when you're growing up, you need your family to support you. But once you have grown up, then you will have to eventually support yourself. So you might have to separate yourself from your family in order to start your own life. So there's nothing to feel guilty about, because even if you're not living together, you can still show your gratefulness by connecting with them or visiting them from time to time and help them from time to time if they need any help. So by not living together shouldn't make you feel guilty. If you feel the need that it's time for you to be on your own, then you can be on your own, But you can still show your gratefulness to your parents by doing whatever you can to help them when they need help. Or if they don't need help, try to show your gratefulness by doing something for them to make them feel good and happy. You can do this. So separating is not a sin, let's put it that way.
Question number 22 from Eva Tong, Malaysia. I am 45 years old female and I have 3 boys, 18, 14 and 7 years old. I am meditator and has resigned from work to take care of my children. My husband is a workaholic who comes home late and therefore left all the boys for me to take care by myself. I am overwhelmed with the children matters as they often quarrel, throw tantrums, shouting, etc. Sometimes I wish to leave everything behind and go stay in temple. I also contemplate for a divorce from my staunch Catholic husband. I am in dilemma and appreciate your advice.
Well, you do whatever is good for you, I guess. If whatever you think is good for you, then you do it, as long as you don't hurt other people or yourself. This is my advice.
Question number 23 from Kamlesh, Taware, India. My wife and I are Buddhists and practice the Buddha's teaching. We have 3-year-old son. There are many signs before and after my son's birth. He has 15 points, but I summarized them. Like many great monks came and visited him before and after his birth, and they blessed us and my son. We knew that my wife was pregnant on the special full moon day. My son was born at 3:58 p.m., which in India it symbolized the 3 jewels, the 5 precepts, and the noble eightfold path. We believe our son will become the enlightened one. These are some of the signs I share with you. Can you please let us know about my son's future?
I'm sorry, I'm not a fortune teller. You just have to wait and see what happens.
Question number 24 from Karen Lin, Singapore. According to the story, the Venerable Moggallana saved his mother who was suffering having been born in hell and unable to eat. Is this story true that he was able to do that?
Well, if it's from the scripture, then it has to be true.
Question number 25. The Venerable Moggallana has attained arahanthood. Why the gangster were able to kill him?
Because his karma, what he did in the past, he could not erase, even after he became an arahant. And he knew even if he had these special psychic powers, he can still not prevent or stop his karma from coming after him. So he decided not to use his psychic power to run away from his karma. So he was, killed, because in his past life he had killed someone. So now it's the time for him to be killed. But his mind is not disturbed by the killing of the body, because his mind is totally detached from the body.
Question number 26. In Taoism, we recognize Bodhisattva Kiti Garbha, who has sworn that If the hell realm is not emptied, he will not want to be enlightened. Is this bodhisattva the same as Venerable Moggallana?
I don't think so. Venerable Moggallana is an arahant. So I'm not sure where their connection is.
Question number 27. I try to do a lot of charities because I believe I owe others in my past lives, then I have to pay it back. So I would rather do a lot of charity and then transfer the merits to all beings to reduce my bad karma I had done in the past. Is this kind of thinking the right thinking?
You cannot reduce your past karma, either good or bad, by your present karma. Your present karma is only good in helping you overwhelm your bad karma, because when you die, your mind will be taken over by your karma. If you have more good karma than bad karma, then the good karma will send your mind to a heavenly state. But if your bad karma is more than your good karma, then your mind will be sent to the healthy state. So by doing a lot of good karma, such as charity, can enhance your good karma and will help your mind to be able to go to heaven rather than go to hell if your good karma overwhelm your bad karma.
คำถามต่อไปจากชาวต่างชาติครับคุณสตีเวนลี After knowing the teaching of the Buddha and listening to many Dhamma talks, I have less desire and can let go of many things and have less friends and everything become less important. Can ท่านอาจารย์ advise me how to ordain?
First, you can go find a monastery that you can stay and practice as a lay person, and then as you advance, you will know when you are ready to ordain. Where you come from? France. See. Is there anything you like to ask? If you do, your microphone. Can you speak close to the microphone?
Ajahn, yes. So what is your way of practice? How do you handle the Dhamma practice?
The Dhamma practice.
Yeah.
First, you have to study. You have to know what to study, what to do, why. Know why you have to practice. Know what you're gonna get from your practice. This you need to study from books, from the suttas, from the teaching of the Buddha. Mm-hmm. Once you know, if you practice, you know what you will get from your practice. Then if you are inspired, then you will take up the practice.
Yes, but so many way of practicing. In fact, even so many suttas and so many ways of.
That's only one way, but there's so many different ways of teaching it.
Yes.
That's only one way, the Noble Eightfold Path.
Yes, but even the Noble Eightfold Path is not so easy to understand because
there are different teachers teaching different.
For example,
because they have different understanding of the Noble Eightfold Path.
Some they accept the jhanas. Some they don't accept or they don't put emphasis on the jhanas. Some they define jhanas on one way, some on another way.
Yeah.
For example, for jhana, but for samasati is the same. What is sati? Some they say it's this, some they say it's that.
Have you heard of the parable of the five blind men?
Yes, with the elephants.
Yeah, that's exactly what the most teachers are today. They're like five blind men. They don't see the complete picture of the Eight Noble Path.
Yes, but the problem is neither me, so I'm also lost, because I listen some teachers, some others, and when I'm alone, I have to find my own way, in fact.
Okay, you just follow the Buddha, follow from the scripture. If you're not sure, stick to the scripture.
But even the scriptures, because I was reading. I just discovered a book called The Buddha Before Buddhism. It's Gilles Fronsdal. It's about suttas and quite old sutta. I think it's the eight verses. It's a kind of old suttas in the Khuddaka Nikaya, and the authors say that it's more the core teaching than. It's not so much about the Four Noble Truths or the Eightfold Path. It's much more about getting peace and calming the mind. So there's so many scriptures, in the scriptures, so many suttas, 5 Nikayas, so many teachings, and sometimes one in one way, one in another way. It's not so helpful at the same time.
You just have to try them out. They call trial and error. The Buddha had to use trial and error himself before he found the right path. So everybody has to try, and different teacher, I guess, you go to this teacher and try it out, and it doesn't suit you, you go find another teacher. It's like buying things, you go to different shops, different stores to buy things that you want. Eventually you'll get the product that you want. You just have to be patient.
Yes.
There's no magic wand that will just tell you this is it, You just have to.
Yes, perhaps I guess I'm quite shy with teachers because so many people they have devotion, but I wonder why they are so devoted to the teacher. Do they know him quite well? Can they see his state of mind, his attainments? Sometimes I wonder how they can, people here with so much devotion, how they can know your realization. In fact, perhaps there is not, and for so many, so
because their action indicates what their mind is.
Yes, for sure. But we can, for many teachers, I cannot see them most of the time. I see them for the Dhamma talk, but the rest of the time, and for many monks, they live in their kuti, and I don't see them acting so much. So it's so difficult to see the action of the people and to judge them really. It's easier with lay people. I can observe them. For example, I can see how they act, but for monks, they are like protecting in their kuti. So, and the master is the same. If I want to observe you, I cannot really well. I can see you just for a few hours.
It takes time to know one person. See, so you just have to be patient if you want to find the right teacher. You just have to take time to stay with him and observe him, as well as being observed, because it's a two-way street. You're just not observing; he is also observing you. So you just have to jump into the water. If you still, not jump into the water, you won't know how to swim. So you just have to take the plunge, and take your chance. Or else you'll be just like this. You don't know where to go, where to start.
No, I think I've started. It's not so much to start. It's after a few tries and staying with some methods. Perhaps not so close to teachers because it's not so easy to be with teacher, to be close to them. They are quite busy or quite rare.
Well, the truth is you don't have to be close to a teacher. As long as you can be close to his teaching is enough. And now his teaching are put in books, on YouTube, you can. It's not the teacher, the person that's important. It's his teaching that's important. The Buddha say, "You know me by my teaching, not by my appearance." If you can get into my teaching, you are getting into me.
Yes, but I come from a country, France and Europe, Western world, where the people they write a lot of books, but they act in different ways. It's for them in Europe. It's easy to write a good book, but after you act in different way, So difficult to know a person with a book and even the teaching.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't think I can help you now.
Thanks. Kampung Krap.
Okay. You just have to help yourself. or anybody else anybody who knows how to help him, please do. Yeah. I have some books in English, my teaching. If you like, you can pick them up. It's over on the other building. They're placed on the shelf. You can take a look and pick whatever you want. Okay.
จากโอลิเวียครับ
Bonjour, Olivier.
Bonjour ท่านอาจารย์ I want to know what's the meaning of the term ผู้รู้ in Thai or the knower in English.
Well, you already got it. Knower. Whatever you do, you know. That's a knower. Without the knower, then you won't know anything. So the knower is like, I think they use the word consciousness or awareness. This is the same thing. You are aware, you are conscious, you know. It's the same word. But you have to practice to really come to see the real thing. Right now, the knower is usually being blocked by the thinker. So your thought is usually blocking the knower. So when you stop the thinking, then you can see the knower. The knower is like a TV screen. The TV screen, when you turn on, there will be pictures on the screen. So you won't see the screen. You will just see the picture on the screen. But when you turn off the TV, when there's no picture on the screen, then you will see the screen. This is the same way. Our thoughts are blocking our knowing. We don't see the knower. We just see the thinker. We just see the thought. So when you meditate, when you stop thinking, then you will see the knower, which is behind the thinking. Okay? Is that all the question? Okay. Thank you for all your questions. And if my answer is not adequate or not good enough, if you like me to clarify or ask some more questions, please do so. I'll be happy to answer them the next time. In the meantime, may you move forward in your practice and someday become enlightened. So bye-bye, goodbye. See you the next time.